Okay, so in this video, we are going to be talking about a comprehensive deep dive of how to actually start a business in the skilled trades. From what I've noticed, just based on my research looking on YouTube and on the internet, there's very little really good material that breaks down how to start a business in the skilled trades. I've noticed just by people around me that have gotten started is a lot of times you're just picking up a hammer and you're just going out and starting to do a job site. You know, there's nothing wrong with doing that as well. If you are planning to start something that you hope is going to be big and successful, maybe something that could grow into a $10 million a year business, which is what this channel is all about, which is teaching people how to start a business, scale it to $10 million a year in revenue. If you're looking to really start a business that is going to be at that level, this is a 36 action item list. It's comprehensive and it really breaks down everything that you should be thinking about and all the different action items that you should be doing in order to successfully get your business up and running. Okay, so to get our arms wrapped around this 36 action item list, just know that I've broken it up into 5 different phases. Let's start by having an overview of those 5 different phases so that you know what those 5 phases are. Then we'll get into the specifics of each phase, okay? The first phase, I just titled it First Things First, guys. There's about 10 action items within that. And basically after 15 different businesses that I've started over the last 20 years, I just know that whenever I start a business, there's kind of 10 things, 10 core things. First things first, it's just like as quickly as I can get these things done, I should just do these things because I can't really start to launch this business without getting these 10 things out of the way. So number 1 is first things first. Number 2 is going to be financial action items, essentially getting your financial house in order, making sure that you have the right business bank account and the right credit card in place, business credit card, stuff like that. All right, so we're gonna cover financial action items in phase number 2. Phase number 3, everything that has to do with branding, website, and online presence. Coming from a background in marketing, I've got a marketing agency that we built up to doing about $1 million a year in sales. I have a lot to say about that. And, I wanna shed some light on why you need to build that piece into your business before you really go out and get customers. All right, phase number 4 is going to be lead generation. Lead generation is basically how are customers going to find you? How are you going to get interested people showing up looking for what your service is going to be? And I've got a variety of different ways that we're going to set that up to make sure that you are getting the proper leads coming into the business so that you can hopefully convert those leads into paying customers and start to grow your business incrementally over time. And then of course, phase 5 is going to be buttoning up loose ends. So once again, after you've done these different phases at the end, there's also some action items of just random things that should also be done before you really open your skilled trades business or construction company or whatever it's going to be. Hopefully, this is going to be the most comprehensive guide on the internet for the skilled trades and helping you really think through the things you need to do and start your skilled trades business. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into this and we'll get into phase 1 now. In phase 1, first things first. First of all, you just need to decide on a service, guys. Decide on a service that really solves a unique problem, a real problem for customers, okay? I remember back to a time I knew a guy that wanted to start a company where he was gonna be building these little lapel type pens that would sit on people's clothing. That's not a business that solves a real problem. That's not a business that can actually make money. That's not a business that can be profitable and have employees. And the odds of that working out are going to be very slim. So number 1, decide on a service that solves a real customer need. Number 2, once you've decided on it, decide on a business name. Make it short, make it sweet, something that's 1 or 2 words. Don't make it a 5-word letter business name. That's my one recommendation there is just you wanna make it short. Verizon, AT&T, Apple, all of the bigger, more established professional companies have a short, simple, concise business name. Number 3, once you have your business name, you need to incorporate. You can do this on websites like LegalZoom, or you can just go straight out to the Secretary of State website and do it cheaper for maybe $50 or something on the Secretary of State website. It's relatively easy. I would encourage you to kind of go that route unless you really don't know what you're doing, and then LegalZoom will do it for you for about $150, and it's really simple on LegalZoom. Okay. Once you have your business name and you've incorporated, so number 4 is apply for an EIN number. And an EIN number stands for Employer Identification Number. And this is a number that is going to be registered with your business, and it's set up for tax purposes so that you can report taxes to the IRS. You need this number, this little simple digit number. It's like maybe 8 or 10 digits long. You need that number in order to set up a business bank account, which is something that we're going to do in phase number 2. So go out and get your EIN number. It's typically free, I believe, and you can do it on the IRS website, and it really doesn't take long at all. So number 4 is get your EIN number. Number 5, decide on an address for the business. You're going to need an address. You're going to have mail sent to you. You're going to have credit cards sent to you. Maybe it's just going to be your home address. Maybe you're going to get a small office. Maybe you're going to get a storage unit to start out of. Whatever it is, you need to have an address tied to the business. And there's other reasons, which in phase 4, when we're doing lead generation, you also will need a Google business page most likely, and you're going to have a company address. Okay. My one advice with this on number 5 is try to keep your costs low. Don't go out and rent something that's $3,000 or $5,000 a month just so that you have a nice office and look professional. There's a really good chance that most of your customers are never going to come to your address anyway, and you'd be spending a lot of money that wouldn't be fruitful. I would highly encourage you to just keep your costs low in the beginning here. Number 6, decide on job roles. Okay. Typically in the beginning of a business, you're going to have somebody that sells the work, and then you're going to have somebody that does the work. That's the best way to do it, at least. You don't want to be trying to do everything. You don't want to be running over here and trying to sell work and then running over here and trying to do work and balancing all of that all as one person. You really need to figure out if you want to sell the work or do the work, and then decide on those job roles up front and start delegating other job roles to other people that want to be involved. Number 7, you need to determine the initial equity split. So if you're going to have partners, decide up front how much percentage ownership does each person get. Guys, just do this up front. I know you want it to be built on trust and you don't really want to get into the details of that early on, but trust me, if this is going to go on to be a successful business, you need to have a clarity of what percentage ownership and equity each person, part of the founding team, has. If it's just you, then it's just 100%, and that makes it simple. But if you have other partners or other people involved, you need to figure out whether they get percentage ownership. My advice is try to keep as much ownership for yourself as you can in the beginning. There is no reason why you can't start this business 100% on your own. If you don't think you can, then that's most likely a mental mindset barrier that you need to push through. So I encourage you to see if there's a way to start it on your own. If you can't do it on your own, then maybe a partner is needed, but I would highly recommend trying to start it on your own. After you determine the initial equity split, number 8 is get a company phone line and voicemail. Okay. In order to do business cards, which is in another phase here, and different things that you're going to need for your Google business page, you simply have to have a phone line. Go ahead and get that phone line because you never know when somebody's going to start calling you, and set up the voicemail so it sounds professional. If you can't set it up yourself, then ask your mom to. Literally in the earlier days of some of my businesses, I would literally take my phone to my mom and have her record a nice womanly sounding voicemail. Even if that sounds sexist, just take it to your mom. Your mom can help you with this. Determine what insurance you need. You're definitely going to need certain kinds of insurance. So I think now is a good time right in the early stages here. Figure out what insurances you need. I remember we've got a real estate company and we bought a rental property, and we bought a certain rental property. It was a triplex. And right after we bought it, my wife started checking into the insurance plans for this particular rental property. And it was down in Florida, and they started coming back astronomical. Like, we were getting premium quotes for $25,000 to $30,000 a year for insurance on this triplex. So do your due diligence up front and make sure that you have priced out your insurance and you know how much you're going to actually need for the business. Determine what certifications, licenses, and permits you will need. I highly recommend in this first phase, and this is really the last thing, number 10 in this last phase, check what certifications, permits, and licenses you need. Sometimes these take a little bit of time to get, and it's just best to get a jump start on them early, start working towards them so that you have them when you're actually ready to start doing work and have a real paying customer in front of you that wants you to do the work. Okay, that completes phase number 1. Now we will move on to phase number 2, which is financial action items. Diving into financial action items. The first thing, which is number 11 here, is going to be open a business bank account. You can do this after you get incorporated and after you have your EIN number. So you need to get those 2 things first. And of course, you need to have a company name. But my recommendation with getting this business bank account is once you have a business bank account, you can also apply for a company credit card. You will definitely want to get a company credit card most likely because you can run your different expenses through that company credit card. You can earn points, and those points can be used for a vacation later on or for a variety of different things. So the 2 first things that you want to do when it comes to getting your financial action items in order is you want to open that business bank account, which is number 11, and apply for a company credit card, which is number 12. Number 13 is going to be set up QuickBooks or Wave, okay? QuickBooks costs money to set up, and it's also the most common one as far as an accounting system. Some of my businesses use Wave Apps. It's www.waveapps.com, Wave Apps. I will leave a description down below in the video for Wave Apps in case you want to go out there and check it out. It's free. It's just like QuickBooks. It's just free. The interface is actually quite a bit easier to use than QuickBooks, and it does a really good job of charging credit cards and keeping track of invoices, and it can even do payroll and stuff like that, okay? Number 14 is set up Gusto for payroll. Gusto is what we found. It's a software, costs $40 a month to have Gusto, and it's a simple, easy to use software that allows you to pay your employees, take tax out of their paychecks, and keep track of that stuff without having to hire a payroll firm. Alicia was able to figure it out in one day. Our tax accountant was able to teach her how to do it, and we've been able to do payroll in-house ever since. If you don't use Gusto, you will have to use an outside firm to do your payroll, which might cost $150 a month or something like that. So you got to figure out whether you want to do it in-house or out-of-house. There's pros and cons to both, but we actually had a lot of problems with outside firms trying to do payroll and getting the payroll amounts right and just rushing it and doing it wrong. So I would highly recommend figuring out Gusto if you can. You're going to save yourself a lot of money in the long run doing it that way. It's really not that difficult of a service to do if you are willing to spend a day or two and figure out how to use Gusto. Number 15 is find a qualified business tax accountant. Okay, you're going to need a qualified business tax accountant. There's going to be a lot of expenses. There's going to be a lot of bookkeeping with your business, and you're going to need somebody at the end of the year to really file your taxes for you. Make sure that you're paying the least amount in taxes and are protected the most against any sort of terrible things that could happen to the business throughout the year. Okay, that wraps up phase number 2. Let's move on to phase number 3, which is branding, website, and online presence. Okay, so number 16 is you're going to want to get a logo. And this is something that I recommend going out to Fiverr and spending 10 or 15, 20 bucks to get a good logo, or you go out to places like Upwork or 99 Designs. Both of those platforms also have a really good option for designing beautiful logos, relatively cheap. It makes the process fun and not so stressful, and you have typically quite a few designs to pick from. So go out, find a simple quality logo that is going to work for your company. Number 17 is purchase a website domain. So once you've got your name of your business and you got your logo, you really need to get a domain. The reason you need to get a domain is because, of course, you're going to build your website on the domain. But the other thing is it will be tied to your emails, which is number 18 here, which is you need to set up a business company email. And you can do that through G Suite. You know, when you go out to a business and it says info@flexsystems.com or whatever your company name is, you are going to want to have a nice company email that looks professional and is something that will represent the company going forward. So number 17 is purchase the website domain, and number 18 is set up company emails. Number 19 is once you got an email set up, you need to log in there and you need to set up a nice, clean email signature. And you want to have your logo in there. You want to have your name, your phone number, your address, whatever, your web domain. You just want your basic contact information down on your email signature. So that's number 19. All right, number 20 is build a website. We are definitely familiar with building websites. My marketing agency, Inside Out Creative, that's what they specialize in. And frankly, that agency builds big, expensive $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 websites for companies. And so something that you can consider is going out to our resource website, which is buildupuniversity.com. And you will see a section on there that says marketing packages. It'll say something like marketing packages. If you click in there, you can select, and for $1,000, we will build you a website from start to finish. You will have to go through a certain questionnaire to give us a certain amount of information about your company. But overall, we can build you it's a one-page scroll website. It has a nice, beautiful gallery in the middle of it and an about us section and testimonials and a variety of different things. But we can build you a one-page website. It's $1,000, just flat $1,000. There's no hidden fees or anything like that. And then of course there's hosting, but that's basically what I would recommend is something like that, or Wix or Squarespace. They can also do services like this. They can't build it for you, but they can offer a template building process. But if you want to knock this out quickly, I would recommend having us do this. It only takes us, 2 weeks to knock out a nice, beautiful website for you. It's graphically designed and then built by our in-house web development team. Yeah, then you've got a website set up. It's relatively hassle-free. Other avenues is you could hire a marketing agency, a bigger marketing agency, build a more established website, and you could spend $3,000 to $6,000, $10,000. I don't really recommend going that route. You just want to keep your costs extremely low in the beginning right now and just get something on the internet that creates online presence for your company. You need to get business cards. I would recommend Vistaprint. You will probably want to consider getting some company apparel, just some polos or whatever it is that you're going to wear, maybe some caps that have your logo on the front of it. And you're going to want to figure out whether you want to put branding on the side of your vehicle. One thing that you could do on the side of your vehicle that's really cheap is you could go out to Vistaprint, have them print you some magnets, which are like $100, something like that. And you can just stick the magnet to the side door of your truck, and then you've got some branding on the side of your truck for relatively cheap. If you go a more conventional route, it can cost you, $1,000 or $2,000 to wrap a truck. So I would recommend just get some magnets in the beginning. Try to keep costs extremely low. All right, number 24 is create marketing materials. So you might want some brochures, you might want some door hangers, there might be certain marketing materials. Frankly, guys, as long as you've got a business card, I would say that a business card is probably good enough in the beginning. You just need something to be able to hand out to people and say, here's how you can contact me, and I'll talk to you about my services, and I'll give you the deeper ended knowledge. I don't know if you really need to spend money on brochures and door hangers and stuff like that. I don't know how much that most companies even use that stuff. That concludes phase number 3, which is website, online presence, branding, stuff of that nature. You will definitely want to put some time into that. And I would assume that section is probably going to take you about a month to knock that whole section out. I've seen people knock it out in a week or two, but for most people, it's going to take a month or two to knock it out. If you use us for the website, we'll get that done in 2 weeks, and you should be able to get everything else done in the other 2 weeks, would be my suggestion. Okay, moving on to phase number 4, which is lead generation action items. All right, so you are going to want to set up different platforms so that you can have interested people find your business. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set up a Google business page on Google, okay? And this is something, when you go out to Google and you type in a certain business, you will see a Google profile on the right-hand side of the Google page, okay? What I would recommend is get that set up, because the sooner you start to develop an online presence with Google, the sooner people are going to start to find you. Yes, people are going to find you through word of mouth. Yes, relatives are going to use you. Yes, you're going to hand out business cards at your local grocery store and get a deck job or whatever. But if you really want the phone to be ringing, because guys, what I'm going to be teaching you over the course of the next couple years and over the variety of videos that I'm going to be putting forward, I'm going to be teaching you how to really get the phone ringing. Yes, you can pick up these leads through word of mouth. And yes, you can get them by handing out business cards and stuff like that. But if you really want to start to build a business, your phone needs to be ringing every single day. People need to be finding you every single day. The first and quickest way to get yourself found is to get on the first page of Google. This should be one of your highest priority things, is to get yourself on Google so that people that are searching for your specific service, they find you and they call you. And what we've noticed is that as soon as you get on the first page of Google, your phone starts ringing 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 times a day. So your number one priority should be get on the first page of Google. And we're going to have a variety of videos that are going to be talking specifically about how to do that thing. All right, so number 25 is set up your Google business page, because that is the initial thing that you need to do to start getting found on Google. Number 26 is you need to invest into getting 5-star reviews on your Google business page. The more reviews you can get, the better. You should trickle in 1 or 2 a week for the first year, okay? So the most that you can really trickle into a Google business page is like 1 or 2 a week. If you do any more than that, then Google starts to flag it and might even take some of those reviews down. So I would recommend setting up a process where you can have friends or family or anybody that you can possibly get to write you a review. Think creatively, guys, but this is really important. You need 1 or 2 5-star reviews being written on your Google business page every single week for the first year at least. So at the end of your first year, you should have 50 to 100 reviews on your Google business page. This is important, guys, and you need to invest into this one thing in order to really start to be found on the first page of Google. And I will explain in another video why these reviews matter and why they will really help you when you do actually land on the first page of Google. And they're going to help you get to the first page of Google. So just trust me on this. These reviews really matter. Number 27 is set up your social media accounts. You may or may not need them. I think it's worthwhile to have Instagram, maybe TikTok, Facebook. These are good platforms for showing your work. It's a great place to show a portfolio of your work over time. People will find you through those different channels and want to work with you. So I definitely recommend setting those up and starting to manage those. Number 28 is set up a construction bidding profile or a couple profiles. The most common one is the Blue Book. I would highly recommend getting on the Blue Book. Start to familiarize yourself with how to bid larger commercial projects on the Blue Book. This platform, guys, if you master the Blue Book and you master estimates, putting out bids on the Blue Book, this one thing could take you from $0 to several million a year in sales in a short period of time, maybe even a year or two if you know how to use it effectively. So I would highly recommend, if you're going to start a business in the skilled trades, get set up on these bidding profiles and start to familiarize yourself, especially with the Blue Book, where you can start to bid on larger $50,000 or $100,000 jobs or $200,000 jobs, contracts. And you can get them, guys. If you come in competitively and you've got a good solid number and you've got a good solid proposal, even small companies can land bigger jobs on the Blue Book. And this is something that you're going to have to master if you're serious about going from $0 to $10 million a year in sales. So I highly recommend that you really double down on this and start to build out this online profile. Okay. That concludes everything in the lead generation action items. The two main things there, guys, is you're going to want to start building your presence on Google so people can start searching for you. And you're going to want to start familiarizing yourself with the bidding process of the bigger bidding networks like the Blue Book, BidClerk, Dodge, bigger networks like that, where you can land the bigger commercial jobs. Okay. Those are the two really most important things that you need to take out of this section that need to start being done. So now, phase number 5. This is basically buttoning up loose ends. We're going to talk about a couple other things here. Number 29 is creating work agreement documents. We have these on BuildUp available for you. Working agreement documents. This is the document that essentially you're going to share with your customer and have them sign, that just says that they've agreed to work with you directly on a certain project. Okay. You're also going to want to create a credit card authorization form, because there's going to be times when you're not going to be able to get a credit card on the job site. And maybe you want them to fill out a form with the credit card information, send that into the office and have the office charge the credit card. We have that form on the BuildUp website for you to use. If you go out to buildupuniversity.com, you can find it there. You're also going to want to create a job ad. Okay. So you're probably going to want to have a dynamic job ad that is clear and concise and really helps find the right kind of quality people that you're looking to work with that you could potentially hire for these different jobs. We have a really, really well-written job ad that is generic, but also is looking for incredible qualities in an individual. We have that job template also on buildupuniversity.com. All of these things are part of the membership over there, but really it's an incredible resource to have these different things so that you don't need to figure out what job ad am I going to write? How am I going to credit card authorization form? How am I going to create a working agreement? And number 32 is employee paperwork. We also have all the employee paperwork that you're going to need to hire an employee as a subcontractor or as a W-2 over at buildupuniversity.com. And then, of course, you're going to also need to set up some sort of scheduling software so that when you do have employees and you're running on a schedule, that everybody can look at the same schedule and see exactly what jobs different people are going to be assigned to, and make sure that within that scheduling software, a lot of times you can show pictures of the job site, descriptions of the job that they're going to be doing, contact information for the person that they're going to be doing the job for, a variety of different things. So you're definitely going to need some sort of scheduling software for customers. And this is really going to help your employees. All right, number 34 is decide on a CRM software. A CRM is basically a software that will manage all of your leads and all of your customers. In the beginning, I would really just recommend using an Excel document, guys. And some of my businesses still run on just a simple Excel document that just has lists, categorical lists of all of our leads and all of our closed customers and stuff like that. You can really run a business for a long time, guys. Even after a business hits $1 million or $2 million a year in sales, you can still very easily run on an Excel document, but you can also check into CRM software databases. They're 20 or 30 bucks a month. Like Popper CRM, which is made by Google, is $30 a month. And it's a software that you can put all of your leads into, and it'll help remind you when you're going to follow up with them and stuff like that. Number 35 is set up Proposify. So Proposify is basically a software that puts together really professional proposals for you. It's just templates of proposals You plug in the name of the job and put in the scope of the work and description and stuff. But for the most part, I'd say 90% of the proposal is already just a template that's built out for you. And they have them for roofing and, tiling and, a lot of different companies within the skilled trades. They have specific templates set up just for certain skilled trades types of businesses. So I would recommend Proposify is like a great place to start to get a roughed out, really professional proposal for a proposal template that you're going to submit to a company. And then number 36 is you're going to need some sort of cloud storage. I would recommend Google Drive or Dropbox as a place to just keep all of your files organized. Your employee paperwork on different employees and your P&Ls and financial statements and stuff like that. So that is 36 action items that you will need to start your business. With that being said, I'm just going to leave you with one final thought. As you'll notice, I didn't say purchase equipment on here. Okay. If you're in the skilled trade, you're going to need a certain amount of equipment in order to do work. That's just how the skilled trades are. I don't know any skilled trade other than handyman work where you might be able to go in there and with your bare hands fix something. And you will need equipment, but I would recommend do not buy equipment. If at all possible, don't buy equipment until after you've sold your first job. So do all of these 36 action items. Once you've completed these 36 action items, go get your first customer. Go get your business cards and hand them out and go get your first customer. And once you have your first paying customer, let's say you're going to build a deck for them for $10,000. You want to go to that customer and you want to say, in order for me to build this deck for you, I need a 25% or a 50% deposit in order to get started. They're going to cut you a check for $2,500 to $5,000 to get started. And I would recommend taking that check, deposit it into your business bank account, and then go buy the materials and the tools that you need to do the job. If at all possible, let your first customer finance your first job. And that is basically all I have for this video, guys. Thank you. This is a longer one. This is me signing off. Let's go to the next one. Have a great day.